Welcome to the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, episode number 321. The greatest pleasure in life is doing what people say you cannot do. Walter Bagehot.
Broadcasting from the back alley in Hollywood, it's the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, where we show you how to survive and thrive as an indie filmmaker in the jungles of the film biz. And here's your host, Alex Ferrari.
Welcome, my Indie Film Hustlers, to another episode of the Indie Film Hustle Podcast. I am your humble host, Alex Ferrari. Today's show is sponsored by Blackbox. Blackbox is a new platform and community that is all about financial freedom for filmmakers like you. If you join Blackbox, you will be transformed from being a worker to being a maker of your own content. And you'll be making steady passive income from the global market. Blackbox currently allows you to upload your stock footage once, get it to many global agencies, and then allows you to share that passive income stream with your collaborators. Whether you want to submit old footage that's been sitting around in your hard drives or create brand new content, Blackbox is for you. It's really quite revolutionary. With Blackbox, filmmakers can concentrate on making great content while Blackbox takes care of all the business BS. Just visit www.blackbox.global to find out more. And today's show is also sponsored by Indie Film Hustle TV, the world's first streaming service dedicated to filmmakers, screenwriters, and content creators. If you want access to filmmaking documentaries, feature films about filmmaking, interviews with some of the top screenwriters and filmmakers in Hollywood, as well as educational online courses all in one place, IFH TV is for you. Just head over to indiefilmhustle.tv. And today's show is also sponsored by Indie Film Hustle TV, the world's first streaming service dedicated to filmmakers, screenwriters, and content creators. If you want access to filmmaking documentaries, feature films about filmmaking, interviews with some of the top screenwriters and filmmakers in Hollywood, as well as educational online courses all in one place, IFH TV is for you. Just head over to indiefilmhustle.tv. On today's episode, I'm gonna give you a little something in today's episode, guys. I want to ask you how many times someone has told you you can't do something. How many times has a family member, a friend, a coworker, a stranger, a teacher tell you you're not going to achieve that dream? You're not going to amount to anything in this life. How many times has that happened to you in your life? Now, before you answer the question, a better question to answer first is, how many times have you believed it? How many times have you let that thought consume your mind, your thoughts, your actions, and worst of all, your mindset? Because I'll tell you something, I've been told many times that, oh, God, you're going to be in the film business. How can you make a living doing that? That sounds crazy. Or even people who are in the film business will go, wait a minute, you're freelance? Oh, my God, you don't have a steady paycheck? Aren't you scared? Or like, what are you going to do? I don't think you're going to be able to make it. Oh, my God. All of this kind of crap I've heard all of my life by small-minded, very fearful, very scared little people. When someone says that to you, they're just saying that about themselves. It has nothing to do with you. They're so afraid of you possibly succeeding that makes them look bad, that hurts their little egos. So that's why they say things like that to you guys. That's why they say things like that to me. You know how many people said, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm launching a podcast. I'm going to open up a blog and I'm going to try to help filmmakers. And even today, when I tell people what I do, I could even see it in their face because they just don't understand. They're just like, how do you make a living? Like, how do you do things? Like, can you do that? Like, it's baffling to them to see what I've been able to do in my own life, in my own career. Oh, and the best is when you tell them, oh, I made a movie for $3,000 or I made a movie for $5,000 and it's world premiering over at the Chinese theater this weekend. And they're like, what? And that goes into what we talked about before, haterade, in episode 319, but we won't get into that. We talked enough about haterade, about hating on people being bitter and angry. But I wanted to address this because I feel that there's so many tribe members out there who've been told again and again that they can't do it, that it's too tough, that you don't live in Hollywood, you live in Ohio, or you live in Bali, or you live in Mumbai, or you live in the Sudan, and you just are not able to make it a living as a filmmaker or as a screenwriter or as a creative. Because all artists are broke, right? Did a whole episode on that. And if you want to listen to real artists, real filmmakers don't starve, that episode I'm going to put in the show notes because it's such a good episode about the myth about the artist who's always starving and he can't make a living and all that stuff. It's crap. It's absolute crap. So understand when people degrade your dream, tell you you can't do it. Oh, it's either them projecting their own failures on you or their inability to believe past their own mindset that anyone else could do something. Do you think that Robert Rodriguez, when he made El Mariachi, was telling a whole lot of people that he was going to make an action feature film for $7,000 back in 1989, 1990? That he had to sell his body to science to raise the money? That he was a lab rat in order to get the money to make his movie? That's insanity, right? Do you think that a young 17-year-old director who becomes basically a mercenary and starts ghostwriting short films and selling them on blogs to raise money to make his short film, is that possible? That's Jonathan Perry, by the way, episode 313, if I'm not mistaken. That's his story. People would have told all these people, you can't do that. That's insane. How many people told James Cameron when he was about to make Terminator that you can't make a sci-fi action movie on a what? I think it was a $4 or $5 million budget back in 1982. He was basically trying to make a studio movie at that budget range. I think it was even less than that. A sci-fi action movie, no less. Or that he's going to make a movie about a bunch of blue people with technology that no one's ever heard of. How many people said he'll never be able to make anything happen? How many, guys? Understand that every artist, every filmmaker, every screenwriter, every creative out there has always had someone waving their finger at them saying, you're not going to make it. You're not going to get there, kid. Your dream is too big. You're just not, you don't have the goods. You know? And I'm here to tell you this. I want you to prove them wrong. I want you to work so hard and educate yourself so much and hustle like no one's ever hustled before to prove them wrong. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game, was cut from his high school JV basketball team. Michael Jordan did. And what did he do? That was basically someone telling him, you're not going to make it, kid. It's basically what they said. The coach said by not having him on the team that you're not good enough to make it. So what did he do? He went all summer and hustled and practiced and trained and educated himself so much that by the next year when he came back, not only did he make the JV team, he made the senior varsity team. And the rest, as they say, is history. Everyone gets people saying you can't make it. It's only the ones that believe that don't. Do you believe it? Do you believe that you're not capable of getting to where you want to be? Do you believe that your dreams are not achievable? Do you believe that you were put on this earth to have this yearning inside of you that will never be quenched? Seriously, do you believe that? Do you truly believe the universe is that? Do you truly believe that the universe is here to punish you and constantly berate you about this dream that you have? Well, if you do, then you're right. But if you don't, guess what? You're right as well. I don't believe the universe is out to get me. I believe the universe is here to help me. I believe that whatever I want to do in life will be achieved. Maybe not overnight, but one day, if I keep working hard and keep pushing and keep hustling and keep educating myself, I will achieve whatever I want to achieve. Period. I always loved that movie Rudy, which is a great movie about a student who wanted to be on the Notre Dame football team, the college football team, but he had no talent. He had no height. He had no strength. He had no size. He was not a football player, but his dream was to be on that field and play as a Notre Dame football player. And he did everything. He was obsessed for years till finally he got his shot. He worked so hard that he finally was able to get his opportunity. And he had two plays, just two plays, as a Notre Dame football player. And after his second play, the team carried him off the field. It's the only time in history that any player had been carried off the field. I want you to understand that dreams are wonderful. They're great. They're that fuel that is inside your soul that makes you get up in the morning and do things and move forward and have that mission in life. I got to tell you though, dreams do change. They shift. They morph as you go on life. The dreams I had as a 19-year-old or 20-year-old film student is very different than the dreams I have now as a almost 45-year-old filmmaker. Are they similar? Yeah. I still want to make movies. I still want to make a living making movies. I still want to make the movies that are important to me, that will help impact people's lives, entertain people in one way, shape, or form. But they're very different than the dreams I started out with. Very, very, very different. So understand that. Things can change. Things can move around. Other opportunities, other things that you will discover along your path might make you happier. Other dreams might come into your world. Other things might want it. Like you might start off wanting to be a screenwriter, and you write and you write and you write and you write, and all of a sudden you realize that I want to write a novel. And all of a sudden you discover that you love writing novels. And it's something you can do. And all of a sudden doors start swinging open for you to be a novel writer. Where the screenwriting world, the doors were closed for some reason at this point. And you go make off a novel and you write a novel, and guess what? That novel gets optioned by a studio to make a movie. And guess who they're going to call? They're going to call you because you had all this screenwriting knowledge that I've been building up all these years. I want to write the screenplay of this. It happens, guys. But I want you from the bottom of my heart to prove all of those naysayers wrong. Prove them all wrong. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by work, by hustle, determination, educating yourself every single day, moving an inch forward every single day, being willing to do things that others are not willing to do. That is what's going to make you succeed. I'll bring back Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan wins the one of his many championships. And guess what he's doing right after the championship? Once the stadium empties and everyone's calm and people are still partying in the locker room, he's out on the court practicing the shots that he missed. That's a true story, guys. He's doing things that others are unwilling to do. Are you willing to read 2 or 3 books a week? Are you willing to dedicate 2 hours, 3 hours extra a day to educating yourself on the filmmaking craft, on the process, on practicing filmmaking, on practicing editing, on learning a new skill that you could put in that toolbox, a new tool to put in that toolbox? Are you willing to do it? Because that's what's going to help you prove them wrong. The power of you making your dream come true lives in your hands, not in anyone else's hands. I don't want to hear that, I'm not getting the opportunities that I want. I'm not doing this. Make your own opportunities. That's what I did. I wasn't invited to the party. I wasn't invited to the big Hollywood party. I snuck in a couple times in my course of my career, but I wasn't invited. And you know what? I started to make my own party. I started to make my own path. It's not easy blazing your own path, but you know what? There's nobody else here. There's a lot less competition over here. It's great, and I'm happy, and I want that for you guys. So prove them wrong. So anytime you're feeling a little low, listen to this podcast. Hopefully it will light a fire in your butt to move forward and prove them wrong. Hope this episode helped you guys out. I really wanted to bring a little bit of positivity and not just beat you up like I've been doing with all these tough love episodes. I wanted to give you an episode that really can help really set that fire in your belly aflame. I want to turn that spark into an inferno because I truly, truly want you guys to succeed in whatever you're trying to do. Again, I might have some books for you to listen to in the show notes at indiefilmhustle.com/320 to help you along your journey. If you haven't already, please head over to filmmakingpodcast.com and leave a good review for the podcast. It truly, truly helps us out a lot. And I have a couple things I'm working on in the Indie Film Hustle Lab. I'm cooking up some insane things for you. And you guys know when I say there's some stuff coming, you best believe that there's some stuff coming. So keep an eye out for that, guys. And again, I hope that this episode really lit a fire in your stomach, in your belly, to prove them all wrong and not to believe any of that crap. Because when you believe it, that's when it stops you. But when you don't believe in that kind of negative energy and that negative thoughts, that's when magic happens in your life. As always, keep that hustle going. Keep that dream alive. Prove them wrong. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Indie Film Hustle podcast at indiefilmhustle.com. That's INDIEFILMHUSTLE.com.